Have you ever felt like you were constantly running on a treadmill, fulfilling various roles and duties in your life, yet feeling utterly exhausted? You might be someone's son or daughter, a parent, a spouse, or a coworker. But do you often find yourself wondering if you even have time for yourself? Have you ever felt like you're merely existing, going through the motions, without truly living your own life? In today's fast-paced world, it's easy to feel like we don't have a personal life, as if we are completely alone amidst the hustle and bustle. We demand everything instantly, and seldom do we take a moment to pause and reflect on our lives. But what if I told you there is a way out of this chaos? What if there is a path to peace, courage, and true knowledge that can transform your life? In this summary of The Things You Can See Only When You Slow Down by Haemin Sunim, we will uncover the secrets to living a more mindful and fulfilling life. Stay with me till the end, and you will learn how to find tranquility amidst the noise, how to cultivate genuine relationships, and how to reconnect with your true self. Rest. When you feel sad or happy, do you think that the world is making you feel those specific emotions? Do you think that the world is subjective, meaning that it is based on personal thoughts rather than facts? Or do you believe it is responsible for your mood and emotions? Well, you might be thinking incorrectly. The world is not subjective, but objective, meaning it is based solely on facts. It depends on how you view the world. The world hasn't given us poverty, sorrow, or happiness. Rather, our emotions are determined by the information we take from the world and how we interpret it. Studies have repeatedly proven that negative thoughts come to the human brain first, meaning it is human nature to think negatively before thinking positively. Now you might ask, how is this fact useful to us? Here's the explanation. We need to find moments of happiness in our lives. We need to train ourselves to stay happy all the time, because happiness is not dependent on circumstances. It depends on whether you choose to be happy or sad. A famous saying by Buddha is, "What you see shows who you are," meaning our perspective depends on our personality. For example, if we are negative, everything in the world will seem negative, and if we are positive, we will see everything positively. For Buddha, every person was a representation of Buddha. If you are happy, the world is a happy place for you. And if you are sad, you will see sadness everywhere. In other words, everything depends on our perspective. People react differently to the same situation, and this reaction can bring peace to your mind or a headache. For instance, if you have a bad day, you start associating everything with that. But this thinking is wrong. You need to understand that you are thinking like this because you are angry, and anger is a temporary feeling. Be aware of when you feel negative emotions so you can prevent those feelings from taking over. Your temporary feelings of anger or tension can influence important decisions. As we said earlier, anger is a temporary feeling that will calm down on its own after some time. Think of it as a cloud in the sky that will disappear after some time. If it doesn't, wait patiently. You can practice relaxation for a while. Focus on your breathing. Let yourself be completely calm and relaxed. Mindfulness. People often ask the author, Haemin Sunim, how to deal with negative emotions like anger, hatred, and jealousy, as these negative feelings can be very exhausting. But the big question is, how can one protect oneself from these emotions? Haemin is pleased to know that people are aware of the state of their mind, meaning they recognize when negative thoughts are arising. This state of awareness is the first step that can help us change our mindset. When you feel negative, what is your usual reaction? You might try to suppress the feeling, deny it, or quickly distract your mind with something else. However, these efforts are futile because, in the end, these negative feelings might overpower you. So what should you do in such a situation? Next time you feel negative, observe it as if it is not a part of you, just like a pedestrian observing another person walking by. Accept that it is not a part of you, and then it cannot affect you. Of course, achieving this level of detachment requires a lot of practice, but once you master it, you will feel much more relaxed and light. Negative emotions are not a permanent part of our reality, nor will they ever be, and they do not define us. Therefore, carefully observe every negative feeling. Let the negative feelings come. Do not try to avoid them, or they will not leave you alone. It is also not possible to control every negative feeling, because you will get angry, feel jealous, and get frustrated. But these emotions come and go, and after that, you will feel normal and relaxed again. You just have to wait for that moment. Passion. In addition to being an author, Haemin Sunim is also a PhD holder who teaches the introduction to Buddhist meditation. This was his first class, and the students learning meditation were college students. Being a Buddhist himself, he was very excited to teach his first class. He wanted his class to be just as enthusiastic about meditation as he was. He hoped that whenever they needed it most, they would definitely meditate. At the beginning, the students were very excited. He could clearly see that their professor presented every lecture with so much effort, energy, and passion. Haemin even arranged visits to monasteries and churches for his students to enhance their knowledge. However, as time went on, the students started losing interest and quickly became tired. This hurt Haemin a lot. He felt terrible, thinking that the students were losing their passion. On one hand, he was putting in his best effort to teach them, and on the other hand, the students did not seem to appreciate his efforts. Haemin deeply observed his feelings of hurt and realized that his students were not only attending his class, but also studying other subjects. So it wasn't their fault if they weren't as passionate as he was. Once he understood this, Haemin tried to control his enthusiasm. He attempted to match his energy level with that of his students. Gradually, he noticed that the students began to take interest in the class once again. Showing enthusiasm or excitement for something is not a bad thing. However, too much excitement can reduce the effectiveness of that thing. This is what happened with Haemin. When he controlled his excitement a bit to become a better teacher, his students also benefited greatly. You might experience the same thing Haemin did, not in a classroom, but in any area of life. You might feel disappointed seeing that people are not as dedicated and passionate as you are, but you have to bear with it. You have to focus on being effective. You need to work together with others, because that is the only way both parties can be happy. Relationships. Maintaining good relationships with others makes you feel safe and secure. It also helps in maintaining mental stability. In times of problems and struggles, you need someone who stands by you. Think about it. If you go through a breakup, will your expensive car console you? Will your luxurious house help you get out of your problems? No, because material things cannot replace human connections. No matter how wealthy you are, in times of trouble, only your family and friends will come to your aid. If you find it difficult to make friends, change your attitude. Avoid forming judgmental opinions about your coworkers or classmates. The more open-minded you are, the easier it will be to understand people. Often, we form an opinion about someone without really knowing them. We assume that a person is a certain way, so give others some time to know and understand them. Your opinion might change completely once you get to know them. Sometimes people mirror our own behavior. Suppose there's someone you want to be friends with, but you find them cold and unemotional. It could be that they see you as cold and are hesitant to extend a hand of friendship. Therefore, be open and friendly so people can approach you. Although politeness is important, true friendship will only happen when you are genuine. When you speak with an open heart, the other person will also feel encouraged to share their feelings. Remember, people generally avoid those who appear cold and distant. This is about making new friends. But what if you already have friends and your relationships are on the verge of breaking? Haemin experienced something similar when he went on a backpacking trip to Europe with a friend. They had met at a monastery and had many common interests, enjoying each other's company. Since his friend didn't speak English well, Haemin didn't want to leave him alone. To help, Haemin stayed with him, going everywhere together and doing everything together. By the 7th day, they were both bored with each other. There was no problem in their friendship, nor had they fought. They just needed some personal space. So the next day, Haemin suggested to his friend, "Why don't we explore separately and find new places today?" His friend happily agreed. After his friend left, Haemin felt a bit relieved, knowing he wouldn't have to ask his friend about everything and could do what he wanted on his own. But by the afternoon, Haemin began to feel lonely. He realized that the joy of being with someone was not the same as being alone. For instance, if he wanted to take a picture, whom would he ask? He was too shy to ask strangers. When his friend was with him, they took lots of pictures of each other. If Haemin liked something, who would he say, "Look how beautiful that is"? In the evening, when Haemin and his friend returned to the hotel, they shared their experiences and what they had explored. Haemin realized that maintaining a good relationship is like sitting by a fire on a cold night. If you sit too far from the fire, you won't feel its warmth. And if you sit too close, you'll feel too hot. Similarly, when there is too much closeness in a relationship, boredom can set in. Therefore, you need to maintain balance in your relationships. Strengthen your bonds, but don't get so close that the other person feels suffocated. Space is necessary in relationships to ensure a healthy and strong connection remains forever. Love. Love is a subject that has been extensively discussed by great philosophers, artists, and writers. Love gives us immense joy, but it can also bring deep sorrow. Haemin Sunim learned from his experience that love is shy. When we chase love, it often runs away from us. But there are times when love unexpectedly knocks on our door. Love is the sweetest thing in the world. In truth, nothing is more precious than love. It brings an abundance of happiness into your life. Love is as innocent as the smile of a little child. When we are in love, everything in the universe seems beautiful to us. However, as mentioned earlier, it is important to control your excitement and passion. But don't become so obsessed or driven by love that it scares your partner away. Like any relationship, personal space is crucial in a loving relationship. Remember, to stay together, your energy levels should match. If you are afraid to express your love, know that Haemin experienced something similar. After giving a talk on religion, a girl approached Haemin. She lovingly asked, "Can I give you a bottle of warm soy milk because I don't have anything else to offer right now?" She wanted to gift Haemin this because his words had touched the heart of a simple girl like her. Before Haemin could respond, she disappeared into the crowd, and he never saw her again. Haemin deeply regretted not talking to her for a little longer. He wanted to tell her how much he appreciated her simplicity. Do you know why? Because Haemin considered himself to be a very simple and ordinary person too. No matter how famous someone is or how out of reach they may seem, they are still human, because they too have experienced pain and struggles at some point in their lives. They have faced difficulties and endured heartbreak just like us. So next time you are afraid to share your feelings, remember this: life. When you meet someone for the first time, what's the first question you ask? Naturally, you would ask their name. What's the next question? You might ask where they work or which college they attend. There's nothing wrong with asking about someone's career or education when meeting them for the first time. It's a common way to get to know someone. You share something about yourself and ask the other person about themselves. But this practice made Haemin ponder, why do we try to socially judge someone based on their introduction? Why do we want to know how much they earn or what their qualifications are? Are these factors enough to truly know someone? Haemin disagrees with this notion. He believes that a person's true identity lies in how much and what they choose to share about themselves. There is much more to know about a person beyond their salary, background, and qualifications. When Haemin reached his 30s, he developed the habit of paying attention to conversations. During this period, he realized 3 new things that he knew would contribute to happiness. The first thing he noticed is that people are not as interested in you as you might think. Haemin often doesn't remember small details, like what his friend wore or how they did their makeup last week. This made him realize that just as he doesn't remember such small details about others, they probably don't remember such details about him either. This realization was a lesson. If people don't remember much about him, why should he worry about what they think? In reality, people don't think about you as much as you believe they do. Another thing Haemin learned is that it's not necessary for everyone to like you. Do you like everyone? No, right? So why do you expect everyone to like you? If someone likes you, that's good, and if not, it's okay. You shouldn't be affected by someone's preference. Learn to accept that this is a part of life. Since it's impossible to please everyone, why should we stress about it? The third thing Haemin observed is that most of the things we do in the name of others, we actually do for ourselves. Therefore, being honest with yourself is important. If you have a big heart, the world will also be generous to you. If you are selfish, the world will respond in kind. You pray for your family to always be safe and secure. Why? Because you love them. You fear something might happen to your partner because you fear loneliness. In essence, everyone is selfish. Unless you become a Buddha or Jesus, it's difficult to escape selfishness. So, do what makes you happy. It sounds simple, doesn't it? Sometimes you need simple things. Focus on what you can do in the present rather than worrying about what if. Life is not easy, so don't complicate it further. Instead, enjoy it. The future. In his childhood, Haemin always considered himself to be quite ordinary. He was average in almost everything: height, grades, and even his family's income. He never saw himself as extraordinary. He recalls his 3rd grade teacher, Miss Lee, who was quite strict. Haemin was terrified of Miss Lee. She was so strict that everyone feared her. Miss Lee had a son who was the same age as Haemin. One day, Miss Lee's son invited Haemin to play with his new toys that his parents had bought for him. But Haemin declined, thinking that if Miss Lee came back, he would be in trouble. However, Miss Lee's son assured Haemin that his mother wouldn't come back before 4 o'clock, and if Haemin left before that, she would never know. Both kids got engrossed in playing with the toys and lost track of time. After a while, Miss Lee came home and went into her son's room. Haemin was shocked to see her. To say Haemin was scared would be an understatement. And why not? She was the most feared teacher in school. But then, something unexpected happened. Miss Lee did something that Haemin could never have imagined. She hugged him and brought snacks for both her son and Haemin. Haemin was confused. The strict teacher he feared so much was now acting like a sweet aunt who treated him like her own son. Miss Lee explained to Haemin that she had to be strict to maintain discipline in the class so that young kids like Haemin would pay attention and listen to her. Before Haemin left, Miss Lee said something that he still remembers. Miss Lee said, "You are a good student and a role model." She also expressed her belief that Haemin would grow up to do something significant and bring happiness to others' lives. These words deeply motivated Haemin. He excelled in school and later became a spiritual teacher and professor. Having someone who believes in you blindly is an incredible feeling. It inspires us to improve ourselves even more. It brings a sense of hope and confidence. When you feel that a group or a person is cheering for you, you start to feel like a winner already. If you have such support, consider yourself lucky to have such amazing people in your life. You should strive to be the kind of person others can trust and rely on. You may not realize it, but your words have the power to encourage others and motivate them to move forward. Spirituality. In Buddhism, there is a law known as the law of karma, a very popular concept that is also given importance in other religions. The law of karma states, "As you sow, so shall you reap," meaning you will receive outcomes based on your actions. What we give is what we get in return. While Haemin was deeply influenced by this teaching, he was equally inspired by other religions. For instance, during his college years, he was significantly influenced by Christianity. He noticed that some teachings and lessons are the same across various religions. Overall, spirituality does not have a single definition or one truth. No single religion holds the exclusive rights to any belief or lesson. Many beliefs are universal, which Haemin realized when he and his Buddhist brothers visited a French village. In this French village, there was a Christian monastic community. Haemin and his Buddhist brothers met this community and spent a few days with them. During this time, Haemin observed that there were many similarities between the Christian community and Buddhism. For instance, some rituals and traditions were the same in both religions. For example, both religious practitioners wore robes, although the colors were different. Christians also spent most of their time in silent prayer, just like Buddhist monks. They had rings that symbolized their vows to God. Haemin and his brothers also lit small incense sticks in honor of the Buddha. These observations led Haemin to understand that faith means different things to different people. Despite the many religions in the world, there is room for each one, and we have a golden opportunity to learn from each other's faiths. In reality, no religion is bad. Every religion aims to guide us on the path of truth. What is important is that we respect other religions along with our own. Conclusion. In this summary, you've learned about the 8 aspects of life that require your attention. Focusing on these will allow you to live a peaceful and happy life. First, let's talk about rest. In today's fast-paced world, people are losing their health because they are constantly chasing work and money. But we need to slow down a bit and take some time for ourselves. This will give you knowledge and a chance to reflect on life. Constant busyness is not good for mental health, so it's very important to make time for yourself. The second aspect is mindfulness. Mindfulness means being aware of what you are feeling. Negative emotions are normal, and often we ignore them, but this won't solve your problems. Keep track of every feeling. Only then can you overcome your anger, frustration, and sadness. Accept that these emotions are not part of your personality and are not your reality. The third aspect is passion. Passion can transform you and the people and environment around you. It motivates you to achieve your goals. However, your passion can also overwhelm you because not everyone has the same level of passion as you. Try to match your energy level with that of others as much as possible. The fourth aspect is relationships. If you want to be happy, you need to understand the importance of relationships. You need someone who stands by you in good and bad times. However, maintaining a boundary in relationships is also very important. Give time to others and to yourself. The fifth aspect is love. Love fills our lives with joy. It is the sweetest feeling in the world. Love has the power to heal even the deepest wounds. The more love you give, the more you will receive in return, especially from those who need it the most. The sixth aspect is life. Keep a few things in mind. Not everyone is as interested in you as you think. It's not necessary for everyone to like you. Learn to accept this. There is nothing wrong with being selfish. We are human, and humans are never perfect. The seventh aspect is the future. You never know how much your words can affect others. If possible, say things that teach others. Do things that benefit people. The words you speak can positively impact many lives. The eighth aspect is spirituality. There are many different religions in the world, but the faith and belief behind them are essentially similar. Don't get into debates about which religion is right or wrong. Every religion teaches something valuable. Today, the world needs love and peace more than religious beliefs. Applying what you've learned here to real life is not difficult, and Haemin has made it even easier because the simplest things are often the most important. Try to incorporate these lessons and teachings into your daily practice, and you'll see how much happier and freer you feel. Thank you for listening to this audiobook summary of The Things You Can See Only When You Slow Down by Haemin Sunim. We hope that the insights shared have inspired you to take a step back, reflect, and find peace in your everyday life. Remember, the journey to a more mindful and fulfilling life begins with small, intentional steps. If you found this summary helpful, please consider subscribing to our channel for more audiobook summaries that bring you the wisdom of great books. Don't forget to like, share, and comment on this video to let us know your thoughts. By embracing the lessons from this book, you can start making meaningful changes in your life. Slow down, be mindful, and enjoy the simple moments. Until next time, take care and keep growing.